Hey everybody, Stacy here. Welcome back to my channel. As most of you know, I'm on a new property with my goats. And one of the first things I need to figure out is what types of things are here that are dangerous to the goats. And we're not just talking about the bears and coyotes, because they're definitely lurking around. I saw a big black bear out here the other day. I'm talking more or less about the vegetation that's growing around here. A lot of people think that goats can eat everything, but believe it or not, there's a lot of things that are toxic to your goats and your livestock that you may not know about. One of the first things I like to do when I get to a new property is walk around and try to identify the plants that may be dangerous for the goats to eat. Now last year I did a video about the plants that were toxic when I lived up in Georgia. So now that we're down in Florida, we got a whole new set of plants that I've got to look out for. Not only that, but I found out that the deadliest plant in the world is growing right here on the property. So you guys stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you what that is. Also, if you didn't see the video I made last year of the plants that are dangerous to your goats, go ahead and watch that, because that's gonna cover some different stuff that I'm going through today. Oh wow, it's a brown ibis. So one of the very first things we run across here is this tree. This is a Chinaberry tree. The bark is very linear, kind of striated, almost looks like stretch marks up and down the tree. The leaves resemble a fern, almost like a walnut tree. Now we see these berries growing on the tree right there. Those berries will turn yellow later on in the summer and drop down in the fall. And those are the most toxic part. They'll cause gastrointestinal issues and also neurological issues. So it's definitely one that you want to keep all your livestock away. Cruising down the line here, we've got some Rattlepods. So Rattlepods look like this. They almost look like they're in the pea family. These pods have seeds inside that'll dry out, usually late summer, fall. And when you shake them, they kind of rattle. Here's what the flowers look like. Very legume looking. I'm not sure if it is related to the pea, but I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of camphor trees growing on the property, and that's what I thought this tree was until I crushed one of the leaves and smelled it. And it has a really strong almond smell. It actually smells really good. And when I looked this tree up, I found out it was a cherry laurel. You can see right here that these leaves do resemble camphor. They're shiny like camphor. They're even the same type of shape. Except if you look close, you might find some older leaves that have a serrated edge, almost like a holly. And that's one identifier that this is a cherry laurel. The other is that it grows these berries here. The cherry laurel is very toxic to goats, so keep them away from that. I'm walking past the graves found on property. If you guys didn't see those videos, go back and check them out. I said I wasn't going to cover any of the plants that I talked about in the last video, but I do want to show you this one that we did cover last time. It's a Lantana, and that's because it's very prolific in Florida. You'll see this growing all over the place. This one's not blooming too much right now, but it is a good butterfly attractant. You'll see these little tiny flowers. Usually they're orange, pink, red, yellow. The leaves resemble beautyberry. Although beautyberry is okay to eat, these Lantanas can cause kidney and liver damage that compiles over time and can kill your goat. Here's a beautyberry. You can see how much it does resemble the Lantana leaves. Walking up here in the shaded areas, you'll see this sticking out of the ground. This is called snake plant. This snake plant is toxic to all animals, cats, dogs, goats, any kind of livestock. If they eat it, it can cause the tongue and the throat to swell up, blocking the airway. So that's definitely another one that you don't want your animals to eat. Here's a camphor tree I was telling you guys about. This is the one I said resembles the cherry laurel. You can see the leaves are almost the same shape, shiny, but they smell completely different. When you take these camphor leaves and crush them up, you smell them, and it almost gives you like a menthol smell. It's actually very refreshing. Almost like a eucalyptus, actually. Whereas the cherry laurel smells very much like fresh almond. This plant here is also growing in a shady area. This is a two-leaf nightshade. And I had no idea there was any type of nightshade that grew into a bush, but that's what this is called. It's got these orange berries on it. That's toxic, you don't want to mess with it. Very shrubby. Very shrubby looking. Is that even a word, shrubby? Okay, here's something new. Looks like a red pineapple. I don't know what this is. I'm guessing it's a type of bromeliad. That is cool. I don't know if that's a real pineapple or if it's an ornamental pineapple, but how neat. There's another one over there. I'll definitely have to look up those pineapples. I didn't know about that. What else do we got back here? Back here in the shade is this plant here. This is called an elephant ear. It's very prolific in Florida, so you might see a lot of these. It's toxic and it irritates the throat. These things can grow big, by the way. You think this leaf is large? I've seen them grow 4 to 6 feet this way. Monstrous. And finally, this is the world's deadliest plant. This plant right here holds the Guinness World Record for containing the most deadly organic compound known to man. This is the castor bean plant. Although this whole plant is toxic, the deadliest part is contained right in here in those spiky seed pods. Those seeds hold a toxin known as ricin, which is 4,000 times deadlier than cyanide. This is the toxin that the CIA and other entities used to use to assassinate people. Allegedly assassinate people, because we all know that didn't really happen. Here's another castor plant right here. These things grow all over Florida, so it's not uncommon to see it. In fact, I thought it was a papaya when I first saw it because the leaves look similar, but luckily I looked it up and I found out that the leaves, the stem, roots, and seeds are all toxic. You have to take special precautions in order to eradicate it. Now, I just wanted to share with you guys a few plants I found down here on this property in Florida that I'm going to keep the goats away from. This is by no means an extended list. There's tons of plants that are toxic to livestock and goats, so please do your own research. As a general rule and advice I'd give to you is don't let your goats eat anything that you can't identify, because you really never know if something's going to cause issues or not. I hope you find this video helpful, and thank you guys for watching.